Hello, folks. I'm gonna have to go do my part two to this. You see this right here? So hit the like button, hit the number one button, smash it, because you know your man is the most hated. Ah, man. Shoot, if you don't believe all women, they're coming for you. If you question them, they talk about a certain situation that they experience, and you try to get more details, because you know women are always going to try to make themselves the victim. They want to, even if they are the villain, they always try to make themselves the victim. And create these emotional scenarios, because this is what they do. This is what many of them do, and just go on a Karen cash out, because you're supposed to believe all women. You women talking about, I can't be nice in public. Let me say this: being nice goes a long way. You want to talk about, I was nice to this particular guy who didn't comprehend whatever the hell, and you take a small, just a 1%er, not the 80%. You talk about the less than 5. I'll even less than 2. Basically, it's a 1%er at whatever part of the town, whatever part, what establishment, and got the nerve to push this narrative that black men can't handle rejection. A lot of women can't handle rejection either. Actually, I would argue a lot of women really can't handle rejection. Y'all don't even understand the definition of rejection. These women over here can't handle rejection because they want a man that they don't qualify for. You know what I'm saying? So let me get my hold on. Hit the likes, get my likes up. Get my likes up. What y'all talking about rejection is not rejection. And no, you just don't say no. It's the other stuff you say after the no. Rejection is the act of refusing to accept, use, or believe in someone. How the hell are y'all taking a word rejection and the true definition does not apply to what the hell you talking about? Rejection is an act. Do you know how many times have you applied for a bank loan or a loan from the bank and been rejected? What nobody talks about, some of these lovely ladies have applied for a loan and they crashed out and got emotional and spazzed out. But y'all don't talk about that. Y'all don't want to talk about that. You just want to talk about a person who you assume is interested in you in a romantic sense, and you want to say, and then because you don't like what they got on or whatever, they don't have this, whatever the hell you're looking for in feelings or physical lust, you use this concept, this term, and it's false. These women over here obviously cannot handle the fact that men who are successful don't want them. And it's being denied and declined. I call it more of just say decline. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pick up on part 2 of your favorite Pander bear, Simp, Deante, Kyle, and the rest of these hyena heifers, talking about these black men. Now, ladies, help me understand this. Y'all say men can't handle rejection, but if a man does not choose you, why are you crashing out? Especially if you don't qualify for a certain type of man, or for a certain type of man that you claim to want, or you're dealing with a man in a transactional sense. in a transaction, or you're being a side chick, and you know this man is in a whole relationship, or you know he's out here having his fun, you know, and he told you this, that he ain't looking for nothing serious, but the dude over there that's trying to shoot his shot is looking for what you are looking for, but you don't want him because you don't like, because of some superficial reason. Okay, you want to be superficial, fine. You can be superficial. But women say, I don't have to be polite, I don't have to be nice. Okay, so then how do you expect to have a community? So ladies, let me say this. Since you don't believe in being polite and respectful to men, to all men, let alone y'all don't even respect each other. But that's because y'all very silent about that woman, younger woman who's unalived her manager at McDonald's in Detroit, poked her multiple times. And y'all defending her, claiming that she was bullied. Possibility that she was being bullied and harassed. Possibility there was. However, why is it that y'all giving her the benefit of the doubt? But if a man were to go off the same way of being mistreated by y'all would cancel him. That's not right. I don't, even when men aren't be on their BS, I don't agree with it. If a man is talking about body count, but he's not looking for a wife, in my humble opinion, he has no business questioning a woman's body count if he has no intention of looking for a wife. How do y'all feel about that? So a lot of you women claim to be scared of men. It's a lie. I'm in Myrtle Beach. You women are looking for D. Y'all are not afraid of y'all talk about you're afraid to turn down a man. That's a lie. You want to talk about somebody cursing you out, but there's more to what went on to it. Now maybe you but that person has some mental. Do you know how many women are crashing out because they're out in the streets because they can't afford, or they need a place, they need some food, and they're getting mad because men don't want to give them no money? Or they want D, but they want the man to pay them. So we're not going to play these one-sided games. Okay? We're not going to do that. We're not going to play that game. We're not playing that game. Okay? So, support the man, support me and what I'm talking about, and get them loves up, get them likey likes up, all right? And I will open the panel. Definitely support me. You can support me where you see my name. Yes. And if you want to be acknowledged, let me know. Definitely be appreciated if you support this broadcast. So y'all talking about men can't handle rejection, but y'all are saying women crying about men not going to clubs. Men don't speak to you in public, but you don't want a man to speak to you in public. Just say you want a certain type of man. You want a man to give you butterflies. And I get to a certain, you want to be with somebody that you find attractive. Yeah, I get it to a certain extent, but if I'm looking for a real solid relationship, it has to be more to me having a hard on. You know what I'm saying? These women talking about I'm afraid of men, but yet I'm in Myrtle Beach, and these women are throwing themselves at men, especially the ones who got muscles and tattoos of all races. You know what I'm saying? Out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So these women are, because my thing, if you're scared of men, then why are you going to single dating events, or why are you going to clubs, or why are you going to a particular house party in a ratchet hood part of the neighborhood, and there's a low vibrational energy and negative energy? Why would I put myself there? That's like me going to a certain environment and I dress a certain way and I look like I got some, got that, and I'm complaining about gold diggers, but yet I'm looking like, but I'm carrying some bands, some 20s. So $100, and I'm complaining about gold diggers. Y'all will have a field day. So I'm gonna invite some people who are down and want to join in on the discussion. Hey, she okay. But y'all gotta stop capping. All these women talk about men approaching them when most of y'all complain about men not even talking to you or not wanting to take you out on dates or introducing them, speak to you. So, and a lot of these women are old, are really too old, are out of the dating market. These women are over 40, they're in their 30s, complaining about not meeting men, but yet they're complaining about men being inappropriate in public. And being thirsty, but yet you're complaining about men not coming for you or not desiring you. That is crazy in itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm about to roast the panda bear and the heifers on this broadcast. So give me one moment. Okay. Let me know if you can hear the video.
Thank you. Do you know, is this just tap water?
Yeah, I believe. Not sure.
Okay. I appreciate it.
And now I will say, growing up, my cousin used to always, tease me that I would end up with a white man, and it would make me so mad. It would really upset me. Like, why would you say that? Like,
I don't know why.
Am I not good enough to be with a black?
Can you hear it?
About preference, and I guess what we find appealing or attractive. I want to speak a little bit to what you said about these people don't really understand me and I don't understand them. I think for me specifically, when I think about my choice of who I want to end up with, I want to be with somebody I don't got to explain nothing.
Well, I need my plight
and unfortunately,
sure.
no offense, Deante, I'm gonna have to explain certain things to a man.
That's
something we're not gonna get. But a white one, for me, absolutely not.
Yeah, because there's two factors now. It's like, also too, it's like, I remember I was talking to this white girl one time, because she had like red.
I pulled back a little further than I wanted to, but I think y'all can catch up. Why was she why is she trying to say and trying to in a sneaky, subtle way try to shame black men who, if they want to go, and especially the ones who are very successful, because they're not talking about a man working at McDonald's, going for a snow bunny, or some non-black man, or traveling abroad, or dealing with other races of women. They're talking about men who got what y'all call the bag. You understand what I'm saying? They're talking about men of means. And I just wish women would be honest and be specific of what type of man you want. And a lot of y'all don't qualify for what the type of men you want. Well, Calvin, you don't qualify for a certain type of women. And then you know what? I can care less. If you think I don't qualify for a certain type of woman, I'm not the one complaining about that. I'm complaining about, I don't speak for every man. I don't defend every man. What I try to do is get you to understand the psyche of nature and the sociology of certain men. Not every man's the same. Just like I know not every woman's the same. Just like I know not every woman's the same. Now, I can be very colorful on this app, especially, I was smiling on the last live stream. I was just smiling and, just, I'm just seeing what's going on in the topic. And I got to call it's just a lot of BS. A lot of these women get mad when men don't want them, but they want men to accept that women want you to, as a man, to accept the fact that they don't want you, but they'll get mad if you don't want them. It's just crazy in this whole rejection talk, but women act like they don't get rejected. And I'm talking about breakups too. That counts. If a man don't want a certain type of woman, why are you dragging him throughout social media and calling him all types of derogatory names, calling him sassy, calling him GAY? Why are you emasculating a man on social media who doesn't agree with what you're saying, and he actually is speaking from a place of facts? You're speaking from a place of feelings. I'm speaking from a place of logic and common sense and facts and truth and having emotional intelligence. Explain that to me. Now, if you want to join the panel, let me know.
Yeah, I thought that was like, I was like, whoa. Like, you feel me? This is crazy, you feel me? But it's like, I had brought her to my neighborhood, and like, the way we was talking and communicating, she was like, what does this mean? What does it mean? I was like, this is getting annoying. Like, I'm not trying to translate. Just kick, like, shut up. You know what I'm saying? But
I want you to...
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I want you to understand that this Deante, this ninja, is admitting that he was dealing with a snow bunny. But he, like Dr. Umar Johnson, tells black men, and it bothers me that a lot of men, I expect women to be on that type of time. Why are you so invested in trying to dictate a man's preference? If I'm a man who's 42 years old, right? I am single and childless. If I say I want a woman who is single and childless, like me, right? If I say I don't want to take care, I'm not dealing with I don't want a single mother. It doesn't matter in my tone, because a lot of you ladies say, I can say it in the tone I want to say. I can say I can say it in a rude manner. Let's just say I said it in a rude manner. Okay, so touche. I can say in a rude, I don't want no woman who's the same age as me. I want a younger woman, like between the ages of 22 to ages 28. But really, between like fertile ages between 23 and 20 and 27, 28, right? Maybe 29. And if I say that and you are older than that, and you are in your mid-30s in geriatric age, over the age of 35, don't get mad at me and don't try to shame me to accept something that I don't want. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Wait a second. So, there's a lot of hypocrisy in these streets.
I'm thinking, but this how you think, because it's like, you watch this, and it's like, yo, Shawty got red hair, like, you see what I'm doing out here, like, okay. But the translation part, it was just like, oh, I really don't get these people. And then when I went to her house, it was like, how are you? It's like, what you wasn't expecting me, but nah, they wasn't expecting me. So it's like, oh yeah, these dynamics is.
And now your safety.
Yeah, I feel like too uncomfortable to the point where it's like, yeah, go up and go in the room, and it's like, go in the room.
No, I ain't going in the room.
Go in the room is.
Yeah, I was like, man, my dad, he really gonna trip. I'm gonna go and get up out of here, because I don't feel comfortable over here.
Okay.
So it's like, but you remember stuff like that. And as a boy, it's like, when they daddy be looking at you weird, it's like, let me get up out of here. If I had to call my dad.
We don't want your daddy to show
Oh,
up.
God.
Okay, and what about you, Sheree?
This is a tough one, guys, because Lene, I'm with you on that.
Okay.
As a black woman, I don't believe wholeheartedly that any man other than a black man can truly connect with me in the way that you described.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, I have to also own the fact that there are frustrations that I have with a sect of black men in this generation.
And so what generation is she talking about? Because she is like in her late 30s, right? So would that make her a predator if she's trying to talk to a man who's like Gen Z age? Because I consider her maybe a late millennial. Excuse me. I'm a millennial. So she's trying to talk to somebody younger, like in her mid, because y'all women say you don't want no young guy. You know what I'm saying? Many of you women will say this, but So what I don't understand about the athletes, most athletes are between the ages of 19 to 28. You know, we understand that the athletes, what I'm talking about when it comes to NBA players, the average years that an NBA player plays is like between 5 and 6 years, right? Yeah, that's the common age. Now you do have players that have played more than a decade, and you know they were never a bust if they played more than 10 years. Now if they played past 15 years and they were still a factor in the teams that they played, a valuable player. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but my thing is these women that are between their late 30s and 40s, like depolicing athletes who are under the age of 30, even if they're in their early 30s. But that's more towards, their retirement age, where some of these athletes will be single for a while. You got women trying to shame Kevin Durant to getting married. Yet these women are divorcees, filed for divorce. These women don't want to get married. They want the benefits of marriage, but they don't want to be wives.
When it comes to partnering, when it comes to potentially,
and this woman is just a good time. I want to say the woman in the locks, the woman up there, right there, feet go below average looking, dry, crusty toes over here. This woman is more of a good time type of chick. Now the other one to the right, she's one of those miseducated, educated fool broads, man. And it's like, and I just think she's just too indoctrinated with all that liberal, democratic, modern women verbiage that they be talking, trying to sound extra smart and try to emasculate you at the same time. So when I hear these women, this one up there is like 39 years old, about to be 40. I think she turned 40 recently. And she's still talking about she's still looking. Man, at some point you got to accept that it's over. Just fine. You try to be the hot girl and try to find this high value man. Just deal with the man who's like, just deal with the man who works at the plant, who's a warehouse worker, and make it work. Deal with a man who makes under $40,000 a year. That's your match. And deal with a man who may be on disability, but he out there, trying to get stuff started on the side. Deal with a man who's a retired military veteran and he just collects military money. But it's just mind-boggling how these women talk about men can't handle rejection, but if a man will crash out because of her preference. But from my experience, and from me looking from all sides and all angles, what I've noticed that if a man voices his standards of what he will accept and not accept, especially a black man in the black community, it's like men, you got even other black men will get mad at the man and talk about he's too judgmental. He needs to, not be so strict on his standards. And I'm like, wow.
being a husband or even a viable boyfriend, that has now put me in a position where, even though I really don't want to be open to dating men outside my race, I don't want to do it.
Ma'am, stop it. You do. A lot of you women, let's just be real, a lot of you sisters can't. You're a good time, but not for a long time. That's how they view you. That's how many view you.
Clear. It's not what I want.
That makes sense.
But it's something that at almost 39 years old, still desiring a family in that life, I may have to be open to.
Yeah.
So I haven't had any experiences necessarily with being in the proximity that you mentioned with white males when it comes to dating. And now I will say, growing up, my cousin used to always, tease me that I would end up with a white man, and it would make me so mad. It would really upset me. Like, why would you say that? Like, am I not good enough to be with a black man? But that, outside of that comment, no.
Okay, my soulmate is... Let's go.
Like, why would you say that? Like, am I not good enough to be with a black man? But that, outside of that comment, no.
We don't have an issue with what you like.
Right, we don't. I don't.
One of our issues, particularly for straight black women.
BS, they do. That's why they're having this show. This is why they're on there, and especially on social media, shaming black men to date them. But yet, we the ones who can't handle rejection. Make it make sense. It makes no earthly sense. And then they talk about they don't want to be approached, they don't want to be bothered, but then turn around. It'd be one thing if these ladies was just talking about their own individual experience and they just, got different outcomes. No, the narrative is that they all got the same outcomes, and I gotta call cap. And you look at some of these women who are making the complaint. No, ma'am, you ain't got it like that. No, man's trying to holler at you like that. No, ma'am, you're not that fine, and you're just probably just taking in one situation and trying to overblown it and then try to play victim at the same time. Then try to convince the world that I have look this dude this incel that I don't like. Why are you parading the fact that you have a dude that you don't like, claim that you don't like, howling at you, and then at the same time you're trying to convince everybody, and then at the same time you come in but no man's checking for you. If you would just be honest that you want a certain type of man, but you just gotta understand, you gotta accept no and keep it moving too.
Is that there's not a lot of y'all chicks.
I almost ran up.
I hate to say it, I hope it don't sound ridiculous, but the number is quite literally.
But yet these women talking about, I don't have to be nice to a man, I don't have to speak to a man in public. Y'all just like to just denigrate black men. You just like to denigrate men and be nasty and mean and rude. And you say, if I be rude and extra, they will not bother me. Okay, but well, if you be rude and be confrontational and you escalate this and you trigger something with your mouth or get in his face and lay hands on him even, or throw a drink at him or humiliate him, you're not gonna be left alone. You're gonna be left alone, but it may be a dangerous situation. Y'all like to play with people. This lady, I may talk shit to some of these ladies out here, but I'm not going to antagonize them where they're going to get violent towards me. Even if I'm a big man and I'm strong and I'm trained, I'm not going to go out my way to fuck with people and antagonize because you don't know what type of day that happened, what's been going on. You don't want to trigger them where they respond violent to it. But women feel that because they can call 911, but yet they claim to be the least protected, that they can do these things without consequences. And there's consequences to how you conduct yourself. Sometimes you just shutting up is the key, and sometimes just being kind, showing them a kindness goes a long way.
And then the way things are also set up, black women being one of the most educated groups, it is difficult for us to find counterparts.
You're the most enrolled. You're not the most educated. You're the most in debt, but you're not. You're the most enrolled, but you're not the most educated. Asian women and white tea women are, but they don't tear down their men and belittle their male counterparts and disrespect them openly, especially in public.
And the counterparts we do have, they got their pick of the litter.
Yes, they do. Ooh.
And now we already have to compete with one another in a way that is, unfortunately,
they're not trying to compete. They'll compete for a white tea man. They'll compete for any other race of man, but they don't feel they have to do anything for a black man, and they're getting the wake-up call.
It makes it difficult to be community-oriented when we, because of scarcity mindset. But then when we see you turning the other way, and you do it because, and your answer is always because, and I'm not talking about everybody, but for those of you who say your answer is because you dislike this, that, and the other about black women, it just opens up the whole conversation about beauty standards and privilege, and even you mentioned the white hair, these things that feel exotic. Have you had any personal experiences in either way? Because you're attracted to women, and you being a woman yourself, where you felt like that has influenced your choices, or you could see its influence on the choices of people around you?
You know what? Yes to the aesthetic piece.
Okay.
But I will even go a step further. For me, it goes to an attitude or perceived attitude piece.
Okay.
Even most recently, Shaq. Hey, Shaq. I love you, but hey. So I did. No, I love Shaq, but he's part of my story.
Okay.
So I was doing a segment on the Shade Room, and I was smiling but very much confident in what I was saying, talking like I'm talking to you all. And Shaq is watching. It's like a live stream on YouTube, and he's like, "She's so pretty, but she's so mean." And I was like, "Shaq, I'm not mean. Why would you say that?"
They have been raised to be mean. They think that's going to protect them from danger, which is like nothing can be further from the truth.
And I think there's something about black women who are confident and solid in who they are that sometimes can be
If you're so
as what
okay,
they read.
now here's the thing, ma'am. If you're so confident and so awesome, why are you complaining and bitching about not being chose by the men you want, or about men period? Because you say it's men period, and then you complain about, well, I want a certain type of man. So why don't you just focus on the men? And what are you doing? What adjustments are you trying to do to get chose? You say you don't want to do nothing. If there was a bunch of men complaining like this, and complaining and beating about not being chose by the women they want, and then they say, well, I ain't gonna I'm not gonna get in shape, I'm not gonna try to get some game, I'm not gonna try to be charismatic, I'm not gonna try to work on myself and work on my personality and be about stuff, I'm not gonna try to get my money up, I'm not gonna try to work out, I'm not going to try to get myself educated and have more insight on certain things, or understand my mind as a man, and understand how women move. I ain't trying to learn about that, but I'm entitled to. Y'all will cook that man, and you will drag him, and y'all will tear him multiple new ones.
Or we have an attitude, or we're boisterous, when we simply just believe in what we're saying, and we naturally emote differently than other races of women anyway. So for me, it's been more of that. I'm taller, so I kind of have a presence about me with that. The aesthetic piece, I haven't gotten to that point yet, to be honest with you. I haven't gotten to that point of insecurity yet, because I'm still dealing with what I just talked about.
You don't need to get there.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get there, but I do think sometimes just the confidence, the assertiveness, it can be a little off-putting.
Intimidating.
Yeah. So I think that's the intimidation piece is what I've dealt with.
Heard that, and I'm gonna let you answer, but I've even heard that specifically in the whole comparison piece, white women being softer or more malleable or amicable or amenable to particularly black men leading, but also to my point earlier, it's not a whole lot of y'all left.
It's not.
In the y'all that's left,
it's not.
how many y'all that can lead?
I don't know
It's
what.
even by a smaller margin. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I just think I'm listening to what you're saying, and it's like,
want crystal clear vision like you had at 20? Try this 15-second trick.
it's like all these attributes that black women have that people want to kind of rein in. If you was Latina, sexy. So it's like that get hard too. And also too, it's like we curate our feeds on social media to our interests. So my interest, I want to see what black folks on. So I don't know what other communities doing what they talk about, but I know when it comes to being talking about women, the only people I see publicly degraded all the time, no matter what, is black women. So it's like,
well, black women do an excellent job. Most of them degrade themselves and they degrade each other, and they don't have no shame. They don't see nothing wrong with it. They think there's some form of empowerment, which is like, wow.
Like I said, I was hyper aware of this young though, because I'm light skinned. Both my sisters brown skin, dark skin. So I would just see how people would approach us like, oh my God, you got such nice hair. And we'll then look at my sister and be like, I'm like, hold on, cuz, like, what's up? So I always been hyper aware because of the differences between me and my sisters in appearance. But I also never liked that I never liked that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But because it's like, they look like my mama. So like, I don't understand what the problem is. But the louder people get when it comes to black women about like, you too loud, you too to do. And then when you compare it to other women, it just seemed like they were a little bit more contained and controlled. But like I said, when you start talking about
most of these lovely ladies, like the Latinas that he's speaking on, and this can apply to he's speaking mainly to Latinas. They may have their mood swings, just like women of other communities, ethnicities have their mood swings, attitudes, what have you. The reason these have their mood swings, attitudes, what have you. The reason why the stereotype don't stick, because they don't glorify it. Those other women know how to be feminine, fit, friendly, and cooperative, and attentive, and they do a lot of emotional labor. They listen to their men. To be honest, many of these women come from worse conditions. To be honest, many of these women come from worse conditions. These third world countries that a lot of these American women, specifically the beat does want to speak for all women. All Western American women talk about y'all poor, you're dumb, you're uneducated, but you're talking about being bashed, but you want to bash other women because you're mad. But you want to bash other women because you're mad because those men that you don't want in the first place, that you don't want to approach, you say, I don't have to smile, I don't have to be kind, I don't have to be respectful towards them, I don't have to speak to them. But so when they go over there, you're mad. And when you say, I want to be mean to men that I don't know, and I want to openly humiliate and disrespect men I don't know, and then I want to openly humiliate and disrespect men I don't know, and then when something happens, he getting upset because I told him no. You did way more than that. You did way more than that. It had nothing to do with the no. It had other stuff, other behaviors, the tone, you talking reckless, and then you're assuming that he was trying to cross the line. I'm not talking about an item just being cordial. You took it to a whole different level where it didn't even need to go there. You took it to a whole different level where it didn't even need to go there. Okay? Y'all act like those guys are the majority, and they're not. And then y'all want to be openly mean to men because of something that happened to you. And then y'all want to be openly mean to men because of something that happened to you in your previous relationship, instead of getting healed, instead of addressing, instead of taking personal accountability, personal responsibility. You did bad work on that and improve so you can be a better woman. No, you just want to be a victim. So you can be a better woman. No, you just want to be a victim. And I don't understand how we wouldn't let men do this. And I agree we shouldn't, but why are we allowing women to do this? And I agree we shouldn't, but why are we allowing women to do this, especially black women, if they have it so hard? That doesn't make no sense to me. We are hurting our sisters instead of uplifting them, but a lot of you women don't want to be told the truth. A lot of y'all don't want to be corrected. And when I say y'all, I'm not speaking of all. I'm speaking about the majority. Anything more than 50% is a majority. Oh my God.
Spanish women. Then that attitude is sexy. Oh, yo, I had a Spanish girl. She was right, wow. But like seeing grown men act like that, I'm like, hey, brother, what we doing? Because it's like, what we doing? Because it's like, I ain't saying you can't have other preferences. I'm saying I'm a Panthers fan, and if you ask me why I'm a Panthers fan, I ain't gonna say because I hate the Falcons.
Yes.
So it don't make sense.
Yeah. Yes. All right, so I want to move on to the other side of the debate, because sometimes when I see this conversation or this discourse happening on the internet, you get, but it's okay when a black woman does it, when she dates outside her race, and you are just...
If y'all watching, let me know if you can hear the audio. But they are afraid of men. They are terrified of men. They don't want to be... They're afraid to go out. They're in so much fear of men, but they're trying to find men through dating apps, which can be actually the worst place. But I guess since they want some easy D, easy dizzick, I guess that's why they're doing that. Don't be fooled. A lot of these women just want to get it in and get it out.
It's hard out here for us.
That's why I got off.
And there is a prevalence of white men on them apps.
Yes.
And it's not really my thing, but it also just makes it difficult for me to have more options for my dating pool. But for you guys, like, what do you think is the difference between when it's happening amongst black women versus when it's happening amongst black men?
We don't have a lot to choose from. And then we talk about preference, right? So if I'm a black woman who desires to date a man who has a certain faith that he practices, that's in line with mine. That makes a certain amount of money.
Until now, Game Changer, they have a wire trimming head that's universal. It's going to fit any weed eater. They have different size leads on it. They have a 3 and a 6.
Shoot.
I went with the 6 because I've never changed a weed eater string again. These are absolutely awesome.
Oh my God. Let me get it back.
That makes a certain amount of money.
Now you'll go through.
That has maybe a certain limit with how many children he already has.
Now you're asking for too much.
That may have never been married before, and I'm older.
Yeah.
By the time we actually went through and this is not, again, I'm not talking about women that are super stringent and have all these high, women that are super stringent and have all these high, over the top standards.
No, they're
just
just
basic things, right?
Yeah, sometimes it's not higher over the top. The bar just being held.
That's what I'm saying.
No, there ain't no bar being held. No. There's no bar being held with a lot of you heifers. And I'm being nice calling you heifers. Because a lot of you women operate in a hyena. Y'all move like hyenas. You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all move and carry yourself as hyenas. Ratchet hyenas. And y'all do have unreal. Y'all delusions can go around the earth 10 times. The delusion is unreal, and y'all walk in contradictions. And the problem is y'all want to be loyal to this fake sisterhood. And the problem is y'all want to be loyal to this fake sisterhood on TikTok of the misandrous, but yet when you log off this app, you're getting knocked up by Pookie G, and you're getting with dudes with multiple baby mama, Pookie hood ninjas like Robert Perkins, and getting knocked up and then becoming a single mother. But it's my fault. The black man who was single and child, but it's my fault. The black man who was single and childless, who had a lot of discipline, and you're saying I can't take no, I can't control my sexual urges, but most black men, over 50% of black men are single and childless. And then racially across the board, over 52% of men, over half of the men are single and childless. When we're talking about men over the age of 35, not 30. You understand what I'm saying? So, you're sharing a man. You're sharing a male that y'all claim You're sharing a male that y'all claim that y'all hate and claim that you don't want. But you saying all these men are thirsty. But all these men are single and available. And this is why I don't like these panels, especially on TikTok, because all y'all do is trauma bump on and you exaggerate the situations, and y'all just carry it. Like you take one bad situation and you're not telling me the whole thing. You mean to tell me you had a bottle thrown at you? You didn't report security. You got attacked. You didn't file with police. Call 911. Y'all love calling the cops on a man, especially on the black man. Y'all be itching to that. Y'all be itching to use proxy violence. You be itching to get the next Simp and to get us all fighting, and we get them, unalived. Get them, unalived, or both of us are KO'd, unalived, or one of us gets unalived and one of them is sitting in prison, and you're just going on in your life being toxic and chaotic and being the most right here.
So we're doing this off just basic fundamental things that we would like. A man who's into his career. Some of them still trying to figure it out. No shade, but again.
No, these women want a Morris Chestnut. They want a Morris Chestnut. They want a Denzel Washington. You know what I'm saying? They want a Denzel Washington. They want a Morris Chestnut. They want a LeBron James. They want a dude who's a celebrity guy, a rapper or a ball player. Specifically a basketball player, an NBA player. You know, that's what an NBA player. You know, that's what they want. And then when it don't work out, they'll take everything he got, and then he can just collect a check, ridiculous amounts of alimony and ridiculous amounts of child support, and just get with some dusty dude. When they the ones dusty.
If you're established,
Man, you want to do that you don't qualify for, and you're not so high achieving. What's her debt? Let's not ask her body count. What's her debt? What's her college debt? What's her college debt? Guess the number how much student loan debt, college debt, especially student loan debt and college debt. And then her consumer debt, credit debt. That's why they want a high value man. That's why they want a high value man. And we're supposed to just wipe her credit clean when all she has to do is contact credit repair and come up with a payment plan or learn how, but she don't want to do that work.
You may have a standard where, hey, I want to date a woman who has a passion in something she's really...
That work.
You may have a standard where, hey, I want to date a woman who has a passion in something she's really passionate about, and she's career driven. She can still be a great...
No man don't want no career driven woman unless he wants the money too. Unless she's going to pour into the family with the resource. Unless he wants the money too. Unless she's going to pour into the family with the resource, with her money and resources to build wealth legitimately. No, y'all want to keep it for yourselves.
Mom, but she has something for herself. You wouldn't date a woman that necessarily doesn't have anything.
A lot of you women just want you to be fit, sweet, soft, feminine, cooperative, know when to speak when it counts, and not be toxic, and have peace and be peaceful. You have peace and be peaceful. Not be his peace, but be peaceful. You know what I'm saying? Understand what I'm saying?
The statistics already show it's not a lot of y'all around.
Thirsty, yet they're talking about they are afraid of men, and men can't take no. Men can't. They are afraid of men, and men can't take no. Men can't take rejection. But look how they're carrying it on.
The guys that care about themselves enough to go to a therapist, or to read a book, or to go to to go to a therapist, or to read a book, or to go to the gym, or to eat a salad. Again, we're under the.
Man, these broads don't even eat a salad themselves. They'll eat a salad with the most fattening salad dressing. Eating a salad does not work. Ingredients. Eating a GMO salad does all these toxins in the ingredients of that ranch dressing. You know these women love ranch dressing. These women, especially B-dubs, they obsess over ranch dressing. Pouring a bunch of these women, especially B-dubs, they obsess over ranch dressing. Pouring a whole jar of ranch dressing on the salad that's already been processed in GMO.
It just is what it is.
I think also.
No, we don't. We don't. We got more choices. Y'all women deal with us. Y'all go out, pursue the small percentage of men, and y'all be bragging about, well, I get approached. Well, meanwhile, y'all pursue a small percentage of men. The men with multiple baby mamas, men who are in a relationship, men who got our main woman and got another woman. Y'all pursue those type of men. And I'm not talking about all. Y'all did, and then y'all be a side chick. Then y'all selling your cooch. You're selling your body. You're selling pictures of your body exposed, and then y'all selling feet pics, feet videos, and you're monetizing your
economic status is you. My options is different. I might want to go play that field. Like, it's like I don't work that hard. If you ain't got nobody that stay down with you to your success, and even sometimes, even when you do stay down, like my options change up. I want to go explore them options because we always think it's something better going on. But I think too, my mentality about this is always like, whatever. Like, the whole conversation is like, do what you want to do, as long as it's not like, well, I'm dating white men because I
don't like white men.
Like, I'm cool, but then also too, it's just like.
But that's what the majority of divestors do, especially on TikTok, especially on social media. A lot of these B-dubs, and I would have to say a lot, because even the ones who primarily date black men, they still put Uncle Sam on the pedestal. They still worship Brad. They still compare you to Brad, but yet you can't compare her because she'll say, "Oh, that's it." If you say her body needs to be in shape, "Oh, that's a European standard of beauty." You're like, what? I know I'm not them weak ass Asian women. You dudes are taking advantage. You dudes taking advantage. You guys deal with it, and I'm not dealing with them Spanish, these Latino women from from Latin America.
And like a case like Serena Williams, like the only thing I ever really heard black men compliment her about was her ass. You feel me? Everything else is like she manly, she this and that. But she's gonna give it to the white dude. Now the white dude look crazy. He look crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he is a billionaire.
You saw the swimming trunk picture, didn't you?
I did. Shot a little translucent.
I didn't see the swimming trunk picture.
He look translucent. It's crazy.
Oh, don't say that.
It's a stark contrast.
Okay.
What he like invested in this or something? No. I'm just playing. But nah, I'm just saying it's like, but you can't go. But then it's like, well, he do got $1 billion, and men respect money. You feel me? So it's like, well, she do got $1 billion, but you can use that as an example too. But I think also my kind of like point of view is, if you,
it's like this man don't want to really talk. This man is like such a pander bear. It could not be me sitting between them heifers. It couldn't be me. And I'll say this because I would have to have security. I might have some bodyguards, man. Because those women are gonna be trying to come with me with venom, y'all. I'm telling you, because I'm not, and I'm gonna say this from a place of disrespect. I would have to tell them the truth. Just like Kevin Samuels that passed away, I think I'll be better. I'm better than Kevin Samuels. I was saying this stuff before Kevin Samuels said what he said. I was saying this stuff. I was saying this before Kevin Samuels started being able was saying it. You know what I'm saying? I would have to be real with them. And I would have to be real with them and tell them what the facts. And those women will probably throw some chairs at me, bottles of waters, you stick me with their nails, yell and cuss me out. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest with them, and I'm coming from a place of love, so they can understand where they're at, so they know what to do. But they don't want. You can't tell them nothing.
Go to college, you in your career, you doing your thing. The type of people you around too, it lessens like the black man that you might. Because of war on drugs, like we was funneled into prison, y'all was left out here, and y'all figured it.
Oh my God, that is valid, but how is this How is that? I mean, it's still a problem, but it's not like how it was in the 80s, man. That's what gets me. Most of these women deal with a small percentage of men. These women want a small percentage of men. These women want men who don't want them. Most women do not want the majority of men. They will settle for with some of these men, but they don't want those men. They see us as a last resort. They want the top 10%, and a lot of these women are not top 10% women.
Like, my mama struggled working regular jobs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go the corporate route, and I'm gonna go do the corporate takeover, and that's what y'all did. That's just real. The stats is though.
But I mean, I feel like I'm trying.
Yeah, but most of these lovely ladies are leading in evictions, being the most evicted, having the most consumer debt, student loan debt, college debt. When I say that, I'm not trying to bash or tear them down. I'm saying that's a real problem. That can hold you up, because why would a man who did what he did, especially if he became prosperous and successful without going to college, why would he work his tail off just to get with a woman who got multiple bodies, she got children from a previous relationship, and I'll even say failed marriage, and she don't see herself as the problem. No, it's always somebody else's fault. And for a man to take on that, and then he got to cater to her and get on her program, even though he's the well-made, he's the multimillionaire. He got to take orders from her. That's not going to work. It may only work if he's just having fun and having sexual relations. And you could come up, if you want to come up on the panel and talk to me, you're welcome to.
The answer out of y'all that I haven't gotten yet.
Okay, come on.
When we're walking down the street and we see a black man holding hands with a white woman, we have a very particular experience.
Yes.
But when we be walking down the street, we might see a black woman with a white man. We might not have that same energy. And where is that setting?
I ain't gonna hold you. Sometimes the white boys be pulling some bang. I'm talking about. They act like, hey.
They do.
My boy.
And once the black wife effect take over, it'd be like, okay, they match.
Honestly, I think a lot of black women, and I'll speak for myself, and I'm working.
The thing about that is that the marriage, the interracial marriage rate with that particular male, the oppressor, is very, but they're not held to the same standard. And let me point this out: most of those children that she has out of wedlock are coming from non-black men, mostly white teen males. I've seen multiple B-dubs in real life have children from white teen males, and he's a deadbeat. And that's just being real. That's just being real. He don't want to have nothing to do with her. His family is just being overtly racist. He being racist all of a sudden, and I'm like, you just finding out that that's how he felt. Don't make no sense.
Not feeling like this. If I'm walking down the street and I see a black, not feeling like this. If I'm walking down the street and I see a black man with a white woman, there's a weakness in him. Oh, something in him is weak.
This is a bevel. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite hobby tools, and I'm going to show you why. The bevel takes a standard X-Acto to the next level by making it more comfortable to hold and more precise.
Oh,
To hold and more precise.
oh, something in him is weak.
I want to preface this by saying, 'cause I don't think we had an opportunity to say it as much. Love is love.
Love is love.
And as was evidenced in our BEG draft, we just fell in love, and she just happened to be white. Sometimes this happens.
And I appreciate you doing that, because I believe the same. On the other side, I think when I see a black woman with you doing that, because I believe the same. On the other side, I think when I see a black woman with a white man, despite all the historical context that we know that sits behind that, I think, oh, she must have got just, she's tired. Like, she must have got so fed up that she's getting to rest now. That she's getting to rest now. And again, why would that be the interpretation? Because as I mentioned earlier, for me, I don't want to date outside my race. But it may be my only option at a certain point, so I have to be open to the only. I think there are some black women, not all, because like you said, love is love. But there may be some black women, and they say it on social media. Girl, I tried it. Venus tried it. No, excuse me, not Venus. Serena tried it. Serena dated several high-profile black men before she finally turned to talk about those black women who have been making the effort.
Yeah.
And it's just not panning out. And so they have to say, you know what? I'm going to be open to love, like, for real, for real.
Yeah.
Be open to love, like, for real, for real.
Yeah.
On a grander scale than what I think that I want for myself.
So the whole point of us having this conversation, for me, and I said it at the top of the episode, I'm quite sick of the gender wars. There's far too much going on that is affecting.
Heifer, you the one who started the gender war. You and your female predecessors, your mama, your grandmother, sisters, your mama, your grandmother, and your great grandmother started the gender war. Choosing Uncle Sam, choosing no fault divorce, choosing alimony. You chose college, and you chose the corporate world over the family, over the men in the family. It'd be one thing if you deal with other races, women, especially the white tea feminist female hyena. She showed she was still married. She still had a family, and she was taking her resources and giving it to her husband that she claimed was abusive and cheating and doing all, and the narcissist and all that. And she told you to do something that she wouldn't do. Lack of black pride, that's the problem.
In our community, for us to be sparring back and forth about really anything, and this is a complete waste of time. It is a waste of time to be having the conversation in the way that we do online, but also there is merit to the complaint.
No, this conversation, if you're just doing it for clicks and views, we need to have this uncomfortable conversation in real life. The conversation is long overdue and is absolutely needed. You understand what I'm saying? It is absolutely needed. The fact that you don't like the fact that the men are telling their side of the story, and the men that you call are lame and corny that don't want you at 40 plus, you're mad at them for telling you why. Being real with you, and not try to have sexual relations and pumping and dumping. They're being respectfully keeping it real with you. You may not like their delivery, you may not like how they say something from time to time, but they're being real with you.
Black women make about the disparity, the numbers that don't line up for us, on top of these ideas about preference and choice.
Ma'am, how can these same women, white tea women, Asian women, go to college, go to school, get a career, and say still have husbands at the end of the day? How is that possible when they go deeper into college? The East Asian women, and then you got East Indian women. How is it that they can still get husbands? How is it possible? I'm not saying they're not having the same problem. I mean, Asian women, especially like places like Korea and Japan, they're called leftover women. And it's like they would never get a pass if they would start dogging out and bashing the men, and then they be divesting with them white tea males. And at the same time, they be doing that, getting that black Dizzy, and having their fun. However, how come the slut shaming? How is it that their image is not destroyed? You know why? Because they hold each other. They're on code, and they don't let the worst of they don't let the hyenas in their community, the hyenas in the misandrists in their community, represent the Asian community. Same with the white tea folk. Same with the Arabs. Same with every other group. But B-dubs, our culture, unfortunately, has been built on misandry, democracy. Way before feminism came into play. Way before the so-called independent woman and Uncle Sam and welfare system came into play. No fault divorce and alimony and child support. And then delete your unborn children. Planned Parenthood came into play. This problem exposed that a lot of these women were never loyal to us. En masse.
That lean into all of these beauty politics and how from the beginning of time here in America, black women were pushed to the bottom in terms of desirability. But the point of it all, the point of us having this discussion is to hopefully bring us to the table, to have a friendly conversation discussing the importance of loving on one another, period. The fact that we have to compete and fight each other for love.
But y'all chose that.
The fact that we have to compete and fight each other for love.
But y'all chose that battle. And your mama failed you. And if your daddy was in your life, failed you. Let me tell you something. Even if you have a father in the home, a lot of these girl dads be too soft on their daughters. Don't hold them accountable. We coddle them accountable. We coddle them. You know, like y'all complain how these mothers be doing to their sons. I don't let that slide either. A lot of you girl dads be weak. Y'all, instead of you being a strong influence and being a masculine figure and keeping it real and showing you got to be honest. Being honest with her. Not doing the emotional and kowtowing. Being scared of your own daughter. Please. I will tell my child, if my child's son or daughter is failing and not being what I think they're not doing their best, I'm going to show, or they're struggling or they're failing and they know they can do better than what they're doing. No, I'm going to pull them to the side and let them know.
Romantically is a product of white supremacy. And we are doing exactly what.
But you chose to join white supremacy with the feminist movement. Civil rights came, and then y'all want to join the Democratic plantation and the white tea female liberals. You want to join these modern white tea liberal hyenas. You want to be part of that misandry, anti-black misandrist, racist, white tea feminist movement. That had nothing to do with your issues.
They want us to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it hurts me to see us pick up their tools and beat each other with it. Black media.
But that's what y'all do. That's what many of you females do. That's what y'all do. Most of you heifers, you side with Brad on the other side. And you're realizing that it wasn't. And I think a lot of y'all knew it wasn't, but because your mother, your grandmother, and great-grandmother did not teach you womanhood. No, she taught you to be a boss. Bees. You know that word. A boss heifer. A boss heifer. She told you that sprinkle nonsense. Share a 7.
Disappointed because we perpetuate those narratives.
No. You be perpetuating that narrative. And the fact until the community stop being a matriarchy of a gonocracy, we'll always have to. A lot of you females won't leave the Democratic plantation. And I'm not saying becoming a Republican. Okay? Y'all gotta stop going to these systems. That's what you gotta stop doing. That's what you have to stop doing.
We allow the arguing in the comments. We do all of that. That's us doing that.
Yeah.
No. A lot of y'all not be arguing. Y'all be complicit to the bullshit in the comments. A lot of y'all be acting a fool in the comments. Not be arguing. Y'all be complicit to the bullshit in the comments. A lot of y'all be acting a fool in the comments and doing all types of degenerate stuff in the comments and defending degeneracy and be enabling the worst type of females. Which is crazy to me.
To showcase black love.
Yeah.
It exists. It exists more than we even allow it to.
No. We it's never existed, and I'll tell you why black love never exists. Because we never built black culture. It's built on pride. What is black pride? And what is black culture? We talk about we made culture, blase. What is black culture? Y'all can't tell me. It's whatever white tea folk tell you. It's what y'all assimilate white tea people and you got a black face. Y'all assimilate white tea people and you got a black face. That's unfortunately, it's black counterculture. It's counterculture. It's not black culture. Because we never defined what black culture is. Because we never stood on pride. It's never been rooted in black pride. It's never been rooted in black pride. And we never defined black pride, and we never established our own language. We refuse to go back to our roots, our African roots. Because everything started from, most of the world's civilization started from Africa before the land masses, what became continents separated. We don't want to do that work in mass.
Top, because we're so busy funneling our content the same way that mainstream white media is doing it.
Wait, don't scroll. I know you don't know me, but I'm about to give you a free trading strategy.
And here you go, that bullshit.
Content the same way.
And the thing is, I'll also add capitalism. Capitalism has destroyed us, and us being elitists, which is rooted in anti-blackness, has destroyed us as a community. And then you throw in integration. Because our culture was we never had a black culture. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Mainstream white media is doing it. Black love is so important. It means the world, at least to me. It's something that I desire for my life. Yeah. I'm grateful that I get to get it from my father and my uncles and my cousins.
But you have an anti-black misandrist attitude towards black men, which I never understood. That's why I said your family is a whole gynocracy.
That my mentors that are men and my...
An anti-black misandrist. She's a misandrist, but she has claims to have decent, good men in her family, but yet she is a city girl.
I have such good male friends too. Such good black male friends. And whenever I have those moments where I'm frustrated about, man, I wish these guys would get it together, I think about them. And I'm like, God, thank you.
Why don't you lovely ladies get it together? Why don't y'all learn that womanhood? Why don't y'all do that?
So much for loving me enough to give me good examples. Yeah. So with that...
Okay, if you have all these good examples...
It's energizing. And I don't know where I would be in my life if I didn't have it in the capacity, whether it was with my father or my friends or my loved ones in my family. I just want us to do better. Yeah. But I think in order for us to...
Y'all, what you say on here is different when I see on TikTok, when I see on social media, and in real life. Y'all want to do that prayer stuff. Y'all women don't want to be fixed. We already dress what the men need to do in the woo, but we realize the women don't want to change. And y'all key to that. You are key to that.
Change these narratives or showcase black love in the way that I think we should. We have to start listening to each other's hearts.
And she drives me crazy. Y'all don't want to listen. Y'all want to have the first word, and definitely you want to have the last word. You can't, there's no nation building. And on top of that, you don't want to respect a man in public. You don't want to smile in public. And we're not saying just smile all the time. We're just saying you don't want to be pleasant in public. You want to be mean to men that you don't know in public, and mean to other women, because I'll add that too. You saying I should be rude. I should be able to. I don't owe a man a conversation. I don't owe a man kindness. You're saying these things, but you want us to do better as a people. But yet, you are upset when men are just not avoiding you and just not going to dating events, speed dating. They're not going to clubs. They're not going anywhere. And most men, even in the gym, they don't want to even acknowledge you. And you're mad about that. And these men on these apps, they don't want a relationship. They want to, they may entertain it. And a lot of you women are on these so-called dating apps, you're selling your body. You're being transactional. You're being doing the share of seven, sprinkle. But see, again, if I was on there, if I was sitting over there, on there, If I was sitting over there, I might be kicked off the show. That these women would get mad at me, cuss me out, yell at me, and scream and call me gay, gay, and just attack my. Even though I'm a heterosexual man, they will say I'm not. They will talk about they will body shame me. They will poverty shame me. They will make fun. They will say hurtful things about my looks and talk about my speech. And if they know if I have a mental issue or that they think I do got that, but they will make fun of my medical issues, mental health issues, physical health issues, and they will weaponize that because you told the truth. You know what I'm saying?
We have maturity right now on a grander scale to do that.
Everything that we love about black culture is a product of black love. So
we don't have had solid love. We were dealing with in chattel slavery, and then we would fight. We were dealing with in chattel slavery, and then we would fight in Jim Crow for we were doing it in a real survival mode. So we were bonded because of those oppressions. And once we fought, we were free from Jim Crow, from old Jim Crow. In the system of Jim Crow, it just morphed into something else. I don't care what anybody says. We fought, we were free from that, and you have integration. And now black love is unalived.
Not here without black love. You know, when your two black parents, and you know, it's everything we love about who we are is a product of black love. We all are hurt.
We don't love ourselves, and our actions show. Yes, we have made great things and done great. Some of us have done amazing things, but we don't love ourselves. Just the way we carry ourselves and conduct ourselves, even the way we be on here on warring with each other on social media, and every community is going to have disagreements, politics, gender politics. Every community has these problems. However, when it comes to us, we don't know how to agree to disagree. We're very contentious and toxic, especially. And you can always be misandric, but you can never speak on the women and their flaws to make them better. And since most women don't want to be better women, they don't want to be fixed. You can't just fix one side and just abandon the other. And that's what we have been doing for too long. But you have a lot of weak males, beta males at that these women don't respect, because the men who don't kiss that rumpy rump, them women are going to be throwing themselves at those men at some point. Yes, those women will tolerate you being a panda bear simp. You be a tap dancer, panda bear simp. But at the end of the day, those women, because those women they got their needs and wants. Then they're gonna go to a man who's gonna not take their shit. And sometimes we will get upset at these women for choosing the a-holes, them bad boys. But you gotta understand, some of these women, and these men that they claim, I can't stand that chair. I can't stand him. He's this and that. Who does he think he is? But those women be on that knee, on them double knees. And how do I say this? And just, opening her mouth and just sucking that fruit, and then pleasing that man. And she opening up for that man, opening them legs up for that man. Okay, at some point, open them legs up for that man. Okay, at some point, that's what they're gonna do. That's just the reality.
There's systemic factors that cause our hurt. There's isolation that come with our community that causes infighting between us. And the thing is like, I don't want to admit that I might have hurt you worse than you hurt me. So I'm going to bring up every time you hurt me like, nah, but I'm hurt too. But it's like, we all hurt. It's straight.
Right.
We good. We all hurt. And a big part of that hurt is because we ain't left alone. So it's all these outside factors. It's all these other communities hating on this. But we left with each other in proximity to each other. And who do you take your pain out on? You feel what I'm saying? So I think that a big part of it is get outside for real. Like, I'm not speaking from Deante Kyle, the media guy, the podcaster. I'm telling you, since I was a little boy, black women love me. And I ain't never experienced no different. Black women hurt my heart, broke my heart. I done been cheated on. I done cheated on some of them. I done dished out just as much pain as I done received. But you gotta be real about that. And the thing is like, I don't wanna be nowhere else. So what we tripping for? Like, if you wanna be somewhere else.
We're tripping because these heifers don't want to change. We understand there are men who are trash, and I do acknowledge that. How many times have we told these not be trash and toxic, and choose men who are not trash? How many times have we told these women that we were under the impression that they claim to be good women to get with good men? That we were under the impression that they claim to be good women to get with good men, and they don't want that until they hit the wall? How many times have we told these lovely ladies to leave those men and stop going to places where these men ain't no good, or those men and stop going to places where these men ain't no good, or don't, and stop hanging with the sisterhood who ain't no earthly good to them? These low-key Prince Seller type of females, these stud hyenas, who are grimier than a man can ever be, pushing that same same homosexual agenda. These liberal females. How many times have we told these women don't hang with them? And these lovely ladies still want to do what they think they want to do. They want to do what they want to do. They want to rebel against everything else. They reject sound advice. They don't want to get better. They don't want to work on their attitude. They don't want to address their issues of trauma, and they don't want to admit they were taught wrong. They were raised, and they don't want to admit they were taught wrong. They were raised wrong. They don't want to work on their health. They say that's the European standard of beauty. Like, oh my God. They want to support body positivity, but they say that's the European standard of beauty. Like, oh my God. They want to support body positivity, but if a little man talk about, well, you know, with body positive, no, you got to get your ass in the gym. No, you got to get your money up. He had nothing. He was living off her. But had nothing. He was living off her. But I gotta step up. Hell no. Hell nah. I'm not saying the guys who are lame and corny, that were always nice and try to be nice and try to live right, don't have no flaws. I'm not saying we don't do no wrong. At least we can admit it when it's pointed out. We might not see that first or be aware of it first, or we might have that freak out in denial shit. But how many times that these men say, hey, I'm not like none of them dudes, you know what I'm saying? I'm this and this, and these women still be out of pocket. They still brand you the same. How many times?
Go somewhere else and stay out our business.
When I tell you, that's it.
If you don't like black women and you a black man, then when we start talking about black love, stay out our business.
Stay out.
Because we talking to each other. If you don't want to...
You're not talking to each other, Deante. Stop. We'll speak on the issues, and especially identifying the problem. These women do not want to change, bro. They don't want to change. You know they don't want to change. But because you and Dr. Umar Johnson, and then you got the pain, then you got the black church, who's still part of the problem, who was a major part of the problem. The black conscious community, the black church and the black conscious community, they are the problem. Those entities are a major problem because they don't hold women accountable. All they do is talk about white tea supremacy, and then the black church talk about just pray for Jesus. They don't want to address the misogyny. They don't want to address the gynocracy. You know, the pastors don't want to tell women they need to how they need to and correct their bad behavior, and they don't want to talk about the stuff that women do. They just want to blame men for it. Then you got the black and then they talk about how, you know, you gotta forgive, you gotta turn, you gotta cheat, and then you got the black conscious community talk about white tea supremacy. They talk about the systemic racial. Not saying it does exist, yeah. They want to just talk about how white tea is Zaddy's fault. It's Zaddy, and then they want to talk about the white tea woman, but they don't want to really hold her accountable. But you know, they want to just talk about how the white man's the devil, but yet these women want to talk about divest. Hold her accountable, but you know, they want to just talk about how the white man's the devil, but yet these women want to talk about divest. They want to talk about white supremacy, and they want white tea supremacy. They want to talk about tethers. They want to bash black men. They want to blame black men. But when it comes to them being held accountable, especially when we go into specifics, hell, I can even say Pookie's right. It don't matter. You're still bad, Calvin. You just because you're not a Pookie Ray, you're still a cheater. You're still guilty. You need to hold Pookie and Ray Ray accountable. How do I need to hold Pookie and Ray Ray accountable? If I hold Pookie and Ray, I could end up unalived. This is them. This is the majority of them. You don't stand up. You don't stand up to the man. This is them. This is the majority of them. You don't stand up. You don't stand up to the man. How can I stand up with the man when you talking about sleeping with the man and you still using the same male as a weapon against us, using proxy white tea supremacy violence and get anti-black violence against us. Black men, anti-black misandry. You know what I'm saying? Then you want to bash and talk about how black men are this and this and this. But when it comes to black women and talk about, and a lot of these children are being raised. Black women have more children than black men. You have more mothers than fathers. So how are you going to address that? But I'm still the bad guy, right? Because you lanes just need to stop. Because when I talk about the Pookie and Ray, I say just don't deal with Pookie and Ray. Pookie and Ray, I say just don't deal with Pookie and Ray. You're still a cheater. You guys think because you a goody two shoe ass ninja. You think because you're a goody two shoe and you're educated, you think you're better than you a sellout. You just want a snow bunny. You guys, you're still a cheater. You guys still cheat. You still guys make baby on the. You be dogging women out. You're still a bad man. You are all the same. This is how they talk. Well, I don't have no kids. There's something wrong with you. How can you, as a black man who's 42 years old, how come you don't have no kids? What's wrong with you? And this is the stuff that you got to deal. This is the stuff that men like me got to deal with. See, I don't defend every man. I defend men like me. You know what I'm saying? And I can relate to men in general, but I don't be caping for other men. I don't be doing it. I don't defend no whole ass ninja. But when I say something deal with Pookie and Ray Ray, but come to find out you a Keisha, and that's why you dealing with Pookie and Ray Ray, and I'm like, no, you ain't no goody two shoe ass female. You still want to be part of the sisterhood, and you want to be complicit. And I said you need to hold these women accountable. Now, because then they will say, well, it's not, let us hold each other accountable. And then when a woman does hold y'all accountable, look how y'all call all types of pick-me's, and y'all try to come for her and tear her apart. And then what can you do after that? That's why I say, man, I tell brothers who are a righteous man, go where you're appreciated and respected. Forget I don't care what her ethnicity is. And even if she's a sister from a different country, y'all still got a problem with, oh, you're dating a tether? What can you do from there?
In the black community, if you don't believe in black love, if you don't appreciate the sacrifices that were made just for you to be here and type on your phone about your hatred, then stay out of our business. And it will be straight. Because it exists on the echo chamber on the internet for sure. Absolutely. It's worse on the internet. It's real in real life, I be feeling. Yeah. But it's absolutely we don't treat each other like that.
Well, the problem is that a lot of that stuff that the internet has spilled into real life. Because a lot of them people from real life came onto the internet and pushed their agenda. They just took what they spoke on the media of Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake and Jerry Springer and brought that bullshit, and then Maury, and brought that bullshit on TikTok and social media and YouTube.
Thank y'all so much for this conversation. It was beautiful. And like so many things when it comes to love and identity and community, there are no easy answers. Just layers to unpack and truths to sit with. So a big thank you once again to Deante, Kyle, and Sharina Cole for bringing your honesty, insight, and lived experience to the table today. These are the kinds of conversations that push us forward, even when they get uncomfortable. We'll be back with more on The People's Brief.
Again, they ain't talking about nothing. It's like, man, I would, if I was on there, man, I'd be lighting them up. They probably might be throwing chairs at me. They would get loud, man. They would get vicious towards me because I would have to tell them the facts, the truth. I would have to tell them the facts and talk about their behavior, how their behavior has contributed to the bullshit. But anyway, I'm about to end the live, y'all. Those who attended, those who was watching every once in a while, that came in and came out, thank you for watching the live, and thank y'all for popping up. And stay tuned, because I got more coming.